Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We appreciate everybody. It is Saturday, November 11th. It is Veterans Day. For all those who are on, or any of you guys who have family members who've served our beautiful country, thank you for your service. Again, my name is Scott Buckholtz. I am your host. We also have Yas Hawk on, our co host. I'm kind of struggling a little bit through a sore throat this morning. So I promise if apologize if I'm a little bit hoarse. Again, thank you guys for getting on. We have a great property tour in store for you today. We are a national community of investors. We like to get together and collaborate and work together and learn together and play together. And today we have a fantastic property tour coming to you from out in the off from the East Coast here. We've got excuse me, Chris and Micaela that's going to be joining us as we've got more people logging on. Thank you for getting on. Chris and Micaela, I've known Chris since the very beginning of my opportunity or experience with this community. Chris, I don't know if Chris remembers us meeting at a national conference, and I still have those pictures from when we met. And so we've known each other for quite a long time. So I appreciate your friendship, Chris. And Micaela, it's great to meet you as well. So let's go ahead and bring you guys out. We've got a lot to cover today. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the sharing of the slide. And if you guys want to turn your camera on, that would be awesome. There you guys are. We see you.
Hello, hello.
Good morning,
Hello.
Micaela. Good morning,
Good
Chris. You guys look
morning.
wonderful. You look wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
You guys look like you've been up for hours.
We have been.
Well, guys, again, it's so glad to have you out, and I'm so appreciative of you guys sharing today. Um, I love this community like you guys do. We love, sharing from our different investors around our community. And today we've got a lot of folks on that have never met you guys before. So they don't know anything about Chris and Micaela Teets. So why don't you guys go ahead and kind of tell us a little bit about yourselves, kind of like what were you guys doing before you got involved in investing, kind of like what's your background, and then also, what in your life triggered or what happened that got you interested in real estate investing? Was it a book? Was it a workshop? Was it a property tour like this? And then how did you find our community? So how did you, get, involved with our community, and why are you a part of our community? We've got people from all over the country on today, so they'd love to hear about you guys. So you guys want to go ahead and kick us off?
Yeah, sure. So welcome everybody. I'm Chris, and this is my wife, Micaela. Um, in my history, uh, I grew up. My father was an entrepreneur. He ran his own company. He had managers running the company for him. You know, so I was raised in the entrepreneur world, and I always knew that I wanted to, do my own thing instead of being chained to a desk. So, I learned the industry. I was an electrician since I was 13. My father wouldn't let me run the streets. So, I was brought up in the construction industry, doing electric work and working on the vehicles. So, I'm a car guy too. And from there, I learned the trade, and then I took over the company. So then I ended up being tied to the desk, and I enjoy getting my hands dirty. But anyway, I knew that I wouldn't be able to break my back day in, day out forever. And around that time, I found my better half, and we discussed opportunities like real estate investing. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining. My name is Micaela, and I I'm still changed to a desk, but I'm learning about real estate and doing the investment property as a part-time. Currently, my background is in IT field, so I'm system analyst right now. And but this part of the real estate kind of triggers me. I like to do this part of it. I grew up with my parents, they're teachers, but my uncle, that is like my second dad, here in United States, he is also a contractor. So while I was waiting for him to be able to done with the work and take me back home, I was always curious to know what they're doing and helping around the painting, the construction site. So I'm exposed to, I guess, the entrepreneur business, and that's why I like it. I like how he could has a company and build up. And I also, I guess, when I was working as a part-time to practice my English, somebody came and said, oh, it's good to invest in land and properties in the future. And I was like, oh yeah, that's interesting. So that stuck to my mind. And then when I met Chris, I was like, we were talking how to provide for our kids, what to do for their college or for their, for them to have a better future. So we came up with, okay, we like the real estate. And that's how we got here.
Yeah, so I always knew, real estate needs to be, part of our portfolio. Like almost every millionaire has real estate in their portfolio. So instead of reinventing the wheel, I should just copy those who are already successful.
I love it. I love it. Thank you guys for sharing. And because I know everybody's story, everybody has a story, first of all, and it always will resonate with different people. So, how did you find our community, Chris? How did you get plugged in? Like I said in the beginning, you and I met many moons ago, many years, several years ago at a national conference. I don't know if you remember when we first met.
Yeah, I remember that national conference. And our journey happened, started years before that even. We wanted to add real estate to our portfolio, so we went shopping. We went to the same, 2-day seminars that turned into, upsells, and we went to multiple of them, literally. We went shopping and we saw a whole bunch of everybody. And we weren't, we were sold on the idea. We were like, you know what, instead of saving for college for our future children, we're gonna buy this. But and then after we went shopping, we didn't buy anything, any education, and then we found this community and this opportunity, and we said, this makes so much more sense, and it's got the book learning we need, as combined with the community of investors who are already doing it. And then I went back week after week after week just to make sure that they were still here. They're not just a get you hyped up, sell you something, and then get on a plane and head out of town. The community was here week after week, Thursday after Thursday, Saturday after Saturday. And so then I started getting to know the locals. We created a bond, a relationship. With that, I was able to, like I said, get the book learning. So I was comfortable doing what I wanted to do. But I also had the community of like-minded investors to lean on, to find my business partners. And they really put a fire under my butt so that I could go do what I said I wanted to do. And I feel like a lot of people need that foot in their butt.
Well, that's so well said, Chris. I appreciate that. And you're so spot on. So many people, including myself, we've all experienced this. We get interested in something, we say we're going to do something, whether it's a business, whether it's a workout, health type thing, whether it's spending more time with family, and then we don't take actions. And that's so key. And I love that you talked and shared so much about the community, because that was the thing for me. When I first met the community, I made a drive from the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky market all the way up to Chicago to meet this group of people that I'd met online. And I wanted to see if it was real, like you said, Chris. And I wanted to meet people, face to face, belly to belly, shake hand to shake hand. And I was so soon as I got involved with that meeting, when I went up there, I was like, this is where I was supposed to be. This is the group for me. And like you, I had done some stuff beforehand. I mean, I'll go back, as I'm quite a few years older than you, but I got the bug when my parents back in the 70s were in real estate, and I started buying the Carlton Sheets VHS. Most people on don't even know what VHS is. And but I never did anything with it because I was lacking something that was very important, and that was community. That was
That's
support.
right.
So thank you, Chris and Michaela. I appreciate that. So, a lot of people on today, they're thinking, is that, who is this group? Should I get involved with real estate? Maybe, maybe they've done a deal before, maybe they've got a rental property, but they're wanting to take their game to the next level. They hear what you just said, and that's like, okay, that's me. I don't want to break my back my whole life. I don't want to save all this money up to send kids to college. And I have a better idea. Nothing wrong with college, obviously, but we also know there's another avenue. And real estate investing, I love what you said about millionaires, because there are so many people around this country and even in this group, this community, that are millionaires, that are, their wealth has been accumulated through real estate. So let's talk a little bit about, this particular deal, how you found the deal, and kind of get into that a little bit, how you analyzed it, maybe how you came up with the funds to acquire it. I know that in the background, I can see where you, right above your head, I see where you took out a wall. Above your shoulder, I see where you got some LVLs where it's load bearing and you put those in already. I can just see all that from your picture, but I'm excited to see the whole property, and I know you're going to take us through it. So go ahead and talk a little bit about how you found this property and how you're able to analyze it and acquire it.
Yeah, absolutely. How I found it as an entrepreneur, if you don't have advertising, you don't have clients. So I chose an advertising avenue, and I stuck with it. My avenue that worked for this property was the We Buy House signs. I bought We Buy House signs, and every weekend I would go put them up. And so this was the second seller who answered the sign, who was legitimate. I had more sellers that weren't legitimate, but this was the second seller who was legitimate, who invited me to the house, and we talked about it. In the whole talking process, I utilized a lot of what I learned in the education, because what you want to do is get to know the seller, get to know their pain point and their troubles, and how you can problem solve. Because what I learned as a real estate investor, we are problem solvers. So, and in my business, I would always tell my employees, don't come to me with a problem until you have a suggestion. I'm going to hang up the phone now, and you're going to call me back after you came up with a suggestion. So that's how I went into the real estate investing world. So um, when I sat down with her, I utilized the education that I got through our foreclosures and bankruptcies class, because she was behind in her mortgage, and I needed to let her know what she's facing, and the five choices she has when she's facing foreclosure. We talked about, catch up. We talked about subject to. We talked about wraparound. We talked about buying it outright. I like giving her 3 options. So she went with the lowest price option, and she went with the quickest close option. So that's how we ended up buying it at $215. Come to find out, her payoff balance was roughly $205. And then she had liens on the property, which was interesting and scary. But come to find out, practically all that, about 6 or 7 grand went to pay those liens off. So they walked away with a little bit of money left, but not much. But it made them happy, and it got them to the closing table. She was also fighting a divorce, and so there was a little scare right at the closing where I couldn't get the husband to answer the phone and schedule his signing session. So I had to rely on, my training, and I had to warn him that, hey, you signed a commitment to sell this house. If you don't show up, you'll be in default. And let me just share with you what default means. But I guess I say all that just to let you know you're going to have hurdles and you're going to have scares. But if you just keep a calm head and keep with your training, you'll get through it.
Excellent, excellent. I love that you, again, a lot of golden nuggets today. You're talking about problem solving as a real estate investor. You're talking about getting to know your seller, finding out why they're selling, what their pain points are. Very great feedback, great, like I said, golden nuggets. In this case, you were able to make it a win-win situation. And that's so important in any business, is when when you're working as an entrepreneur and you're in business, and whatever business field it is when it's a win-win situation, it's a good deal. So I'm sure that they were able to recognize through your conversations that the alternative of not, selling this property was not going to be good for them, and become in default and all that. So you acquired the property. And so obviously, for you to be interested in this property, for you and Micaela to be interested, you had to analyze the property. You had to look at several factors, the market, the surrounding area, the condition of the property. You had to look at different exit strategies, whether you're going to flip it, and you're going to talk a little bit about that, so I won't steal your thunder, whether you're going to hold on to it, whether you're going to make it a midterm, short-term rental, whether maybe you're going to just buy it and then wholesale it. There's obviously lots of strategies at our fingertips through our education. So what was the key things for you when you analyzed the property and the location?
So the key things for me was possibilities, or keeping my options open. I did not want to get into a project with only one exit strategy. And because I don't like being tied down or limited. My wife knows, and people who know me, I'm very risk adverse.
Yeah, I like risks.
So yeah, so when I looked at this property, I was like, how many exit strategies can I build in? So yeah, buying at this price point, I totally could have just turned around and put it right on the MLS and made a little chunk of change.
Yeah, wholesale it, or
I could also wholesale it off the MLS. But I would much rather, I construction industry, I'd much rather get my hands dirty. Fix and flip is fun. But then my education, I know that through my tax and legal, your best option is to keep it, because with the inflation rate right now, the one thing that goes up with the inflation is the value of the house. because with every dollar decreasing in value, house prices increase in value. It's just that's a normal thing. So that's the safest place for me to put my money, you know, is to keep it. We learn in the tax and legal that there's 4 ways that keeping a rental property helps you with your taxes and with your income. So it makes more sense just to keep it. So how do I keep it? You got to analyze your rental rate in the area. You analyze how much you're going to put into the deal. You analyze, how you can get more out of your rental rate. And so I've decided that the best opportunity here in this location is I'm going to shoot for traveling nurses. So kind of like a midterm rental, like a 3-month per bedroom idea.
The property is like 11 minutes away from the hospital.
Yeah, in Fredericksburg, we've got Mary Washington Hospital, but we also have multiple different specific trades for the medical industry. So we have a lot of traveling nurses here. So I'm thinking, slow down.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense, Chris. Makes a lot of sense. So obviously they're professionals. I know that's a big niche right now and has been for a little bit. So you're going to capitalize on that. And obviously, you're going to accumulate and build equity in the property and so forth. So as we're about, looks like we're here at about 25 after the top of the hour. Would you kind of like to take us through the property a little bit? And
yeah.
and then
Let's
I know Micaela's got a few.
The before pictures.
Sure.
And then I'll walk you around.
Go for it.
So we had a big hole in the roof. That's what that blue circle is. And that's my trash bag that I actually did a good job patching it. So, and then on the right is the new roof. I just had that roof put on, I guess, 4 days ago. So walking through the house, this was a 4 adult children plus the mother. So it was nasty. It was trashed. Only one of those adult children had a job. It was neglected. The house was flipped in 2008, and absolutely nothing was done since then. So that's what the mess you're looking at. The house came with 3 full beds that I had to throw away. The trim was rotted all around. And then that's what the kitchen looked like before, the cabinets and the old Formica countertop. Over on the right is where the deck used to be. She never cleaned off the deck. So there was leaves, branches, and the gutter was overflowing. So all those leaves and branches just kept moisture, and it rotted out that beam. So what you're looking at under the sliding door. From the corner, we had to replace 12 feet of that beam. Furthermore, it had sunk because of the rot, and my contractor had to jack it up with bottle jacks. And he told me it was a total of 1 5/8 inches that he had to jack it back up to make it level. So definitely put that in the budget. That could have been a big budget breaker. But I had budgeted for the sliding door already. Here is some of the in progress. The electric panel that y'all want to look out for is Federal Pacific. This guy had a Federal Pacific panel, so that was definitely on my list. The middle picture is right after our demo party. So in our community, we like to get together, and so we had a demolition party. I ordered pizza, and everybody got a chance to take their aggression out. On the right, I've already got the plumber getting started. I invited some community members to see what plumbing looks like when it's getting done. So yeah, should we walk through the house before we talk numbers or what?
Yeah, I think that would be great, Chris. So first of all, I did not get my invite in the mail for the demo party. So I missed out on some pizza and swinging a jackhammer or a sledgehammer. That is, I'm sorry, a sledgehammer. So I missed that, or a sawzall. Love a sawzall too. That's a lot of fun. And so, thank you. Maybe you'll catch me on the next one. How's that?
I look
Yeah.
forward to it. Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
add it to
Yeah.
the for sure.
Yeah, well, I got to be careful though. The last time I got involved with a demo, I was carrying down a mattress from the third floor, and if you ever saw the movie Home Alone, where the boy slides down the stairs on the mattress,
Mhm.
um, I decided that it would be funner to have the mattress slide down on me down the stairs, and I broke my ankle in half. So maybe I should be very careful if I come out and help with demos. So um but anyway, yeah, go ahead, take us through the property and talk a little bit about what's going on there. And anybody that's on your mobile, if you guys want the screen to be larger, you can turn your phone sideways and you can pinch out and make, zoom in on things. So go ahead, Chris, Michaela.
All right. So we're standing in the living room, and behind us, it's a split level. So it's a 3-level split level home. So what you'll see behind us is we have this beam that we put in, and that was so that we could. All right, my wife's going to take over.
And then point it to him.
So this is the
Hey,
front door.
Chris, maybe stop sharing the slides, please, so we can see you guys.
Oh,
Okay, hold on.
Thank
she's
you.
the expert at
Perfect.
Is it better now? Am I?
Yes, it is. Just don't forget to stay fairly close to the camera so we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So here we are looking at the front door, and there was a wall here. So yep, there you go. So come on to the front door and we can show you the whole house. Yep. Now you're standing at the front door. This was very closed in. You have a foyer, formal foyer here. You entered the kitchen through a doorway right here. We can see we've just blown out every single wall in this split foyer or split level house. We did have to put a post in, but what we're going to do for this post is right here, we're going to butt the island up to the post, and it's going to, I've already bought the island on Facebook Marketplace for $80. It's 67 inches from the post out, and that way we got the beautiful island with the grand openness that everybody's looking for. Looking at the kitchen, the cabinets are actually in really good shape. So we're going to sand them down and paint them. Removed the cabinets so that we could clean underneath, mouse poop and whatnot, people who don't take care of the home. So it's going to be freshened up. It smells 1,000 times better now.
Oh, yeah.
But since we opened it up, we're going to keep the appliances all in the same location, except for the refrigerator, which the refrigerator used to be where the island is going to be. So what we're going to do is extend the countertops all the way under the window, and then we'll have the fridge here. And of course, when you put the fridge here, we're going to need to move the HVAC vent. No big deal. It's just, I want people to know there's always going to be something to do. And no matter what, if it's you doing it or somebody else doing it, somebody's going to need to do it, So, but that HVAC vent, no big deal. Electric outlets, don't get intimidated. But so that's why the cabinets are sitting here. And we had them moved, cleaning them, putting them back. But what do you think? Nice and open?
Yeah, it looks great, Chris. I love how you've opened the whole first floor. It's very nice.
So we're gonna have recessed lights throughout because as an electrician, I love my recessed lights. As we go up the steps, this was all carpet, and we've just recently pulled all of the staples that were holding the carpet padding down to the floor. So that's, again, Whether you're doing it or somebody else, somebody has to pull every single one of those staples. As I walked through here the first time, I said, wow, this floor is actually pretty good, this bathroom. So they have grout stain or grout paint. So we're going to keep the tile and I'll just go through the grout paint and brighten it right back up. But you can see we got rid of the vanity, we got rid of the bathtub, and I brought you some samples of the tile. I found this tile on Facebook Marketplace. It's actually Italian porcelain with a wood grain to it. And if we stack it staggered like that, I think it's going to look really good. And of course, we're going to do the soap niche because, you know, that's what everybody likes nowadays. So that's the hall bath. I want to show you to the main bath because that's the fun one. So this main bath was first just a small square. It was just that small square with fiberglass, you know, tubs or shower surround. And it was really dark. They did have recessed light, but it was very dark and dingy. So what I did, I said, I'm going to take out that wall and we're going to expand the shower so that it's 6 feet wide, 70 inches, actually. So I've actually studded this out with 2x6s so that we can have the water valves here and on the exterior wall and it will not freeze because we've added the insulation. And we'll just have a really big, grand shower here. Picture it with beautiful sliding glass doors, the shower niche all the way across, recessed lighting, of course. This is going to be a master bathroom that everybody's going to want. Everybody's going to want, right?
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear. We're good.
All right.
And let me show you downstairs. So that was the 2 full baths. And now I'm going to show you what the half bathroom is. Now, as I walk through a property, I was taught, you know, to keep an eye on what needs to get repaired. So I'm looking at the drywall, which is easy to repair. I'm looking at the floors, which the carpet was nasty. But I'm looking at the expensive stuff, like the windows. And I told you that this house was flipped in 08. So the windows are newer. You know, they were flipped in 2008. So that was a cost savings for me right there. So now we're downstairs and I'm going to show you what the half bathroom is or is happening. So come on in. What I've done is this used to be a combination half bath laundry. So this was the laundry and that was the half bath. And what I've decided to do is put up these walls and stud out so that we can now have a shower. So now I'm standing in the new shower. We're going to reuse the drain and we're going to have ourselves a full bathroom down here. So now I'm turning this house, and what they told us, this is forced depreciation. So instead of just a 2.5 bath, it's now a full 3 bath, and I'll be able to drive up the price for this house if I needed to flip it. But furthermore, if I'm planning to pull equity out, I'll be able to pull more equity as well. So this will be our shower for the full bath, and I saved enough space for the water heater in the back, and I'm going to have the front load washer and dryer. The front load washer and dryer will stand right here, pointing into the hallway, and I'm going to make a cart with wheels so that if we do need to get behind it to the water heater, all we got to do is just pull it out because it's going to be on wheels. And Already looked into it, already planned it. We have the head height, so yeah. That's our tour of the inside.
Love it. I love the vision. I love the fact that you're forcing appreciation, you're adding value. Um, so when you acquired this property, how many bedrooms again was it when you acquired it?
It was 4 bedrooms when I acquired it and 2.5 bathrooms.
So it's going to be a 4-bed, 3-bath.
So right now it will, yeah.
Yep.
Mhm. Now,
Amazing.
if my plan and my vision, works, I can totally put up another wall in the den and make a 5th bedroom. Pretty simply.
So do you see, first of all, looking at what's in the market, what's in your area, that community, are there a lot of 5 bedrooms? Is there a need for 5 bedrooms?
Well, as a
Um,
flip, a 5 bedroom might not make sense. You're gonna want to have a second living space as a flip. But as a midterm rental, that 5th bedroom for a traveling professional, they don't need that second living space. All I need is a bedroom.
awesome. So you're, again, wonderful. Now, obviously putting thoughts into this and putting your vision and putting a plan in place. Um, the 5th bedroom, the cost of adding and taking away from did you say in the living room, or where are you going to put that? Can you show us where you're going to do that at possibly?
I'm calling this the den.
Okay.
So you'll see the fireplace there. That's the fireplace.
See now?
Yeah.
That
So
looks better.
So Mika, turn around to show me.
Mhm.
So right here, this is the hall, the doorway to the back to the second half,
Cause,
the second half of the house.
and there's a bedroom too.
What I'll do is I'll just put a wall up right here from this wall across to the front wall and put a door in. And so my wife is standing in bedroom number 5. And the headboard of the bed will block the fireplace. Maybe I even build something to hide the fireplace, but nonetheless, we have plenty of square footage for this to be bedroom number 5 here in the den.
Well, and while analyzing this, Chris, what would it do for you on the revenue side, just roughly, if you had a 5th bedroom?
So in our area, a traveling professional will pay about $1,000 a month for a bedroom. So by adding this 5th bedroom, I could add $1,000 of cash flow to my revenue.
That's amazing. That's amazing because doing what you're talking about doing, adding the wall, doing the drywall work, putting the door frame in, that type of things, blocking the fireplace off, that's not that much money. That's a fairly quick and easy um, addition that you can add value and add the additional $1,000 a month. That's amazing, Chris.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this open because, I like to have my options. I'm going to start renting it as the 4 bedroom. And once I get those 4 bedrooms rented, and that means my proof of concept,
It's working.
and that's when I'm going to put up the wall, which, like you said, is very simple.
It is. It's excellent. It's
Yep.
excellent. So, um, let's talk a little bit about, you acquired the property, and I know we're going to get into the numbers here in just a couple minutes. I had a message sent to me directly saying when we're going to cover the numbers. Were you able to acquire this? How did you acquire? Did you use your own money? Were you able to?
So I used a little bit of my own money. I used a little bit of private investor money for the down payment, but I also used a private investor for the large payment.
So it sounds like to me the bulk of the money needed for acquisition and rehab, you were able to create a relationship with a private
Yeah.
lender or a couple private lenders to do this project?
I was introduced to the large private lender through the community, through a member in the community. He referred her to me. She and her husband are using their IRAs. So I'm funding this deal with somebody's retirement account. Yes.
That is awesome. And obviously, um, you know, I love the fact that we have so many tools at our fingertips and so many trainings and education on how to have that conversation, how to actually put that deal together. And you want to talk a little bit about that before we get to the numbers. How are you able to have that conversation and put that together, the plan together to use private lenders?
Yeah, well, we have a private lender and hard money training class that teaches us all about the terms and techniques and how things work and the do's and do nots about that. But then there's also the negotiating class that taught me how to negotiate and what words to say and how to, pull the heartstrings and, get things our way. So the classes were invaluable or totally valuable. I wouldn't have been able to negotiate the rate if I wouldn't have had the education that I had.
That's awesome, Chris and Michaela. So you guys, when you acquired this property, what was your timeline of from acquisition to completing the project?
So the plan was 5 weeks. And I think we'll be able to be there at 5, 6 weeks. So we are now in week 3. And I think we'll be good. Should we turn that back on?
Yeah, that's a great, that's an incredible turnaround time. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
The
didn't
first
have
week in
to,
December-ish.
first week in December. Okay, great. So you talked about the Federal Pacific electrical panel. Obviously, those are out of code, and that had to be replaced. Did you have to replace a lot of plumbing? Did you have to replace a lot of HVAC? Did you put a new furnace in? What,
So in the original budget, I had to replace it's a heat pump system. So I had 5,500 in there for that. But come to find out, since I'm a man in the trades, I was able to fix the HVAC system for only $160. So that freed up the $5,000 so that I could put that toward the roof. But so when we walked through here, she had window units, and I said, "What's up with the window units?" And the air conditioner, it always needs something every year, so I just bought new window units. I said, "Okay." So I budgeted 5,500 for a new HVAC system, but come to find out, I was able to fix it. So yeah,
That's
And use the money,
fantastic.
and use the money towards the roof, which the roof needed to be replaced.
So go ahead and talk a little bit about the numbers for everybody. And I know you've got this broke down into a couple different strategies.
Yeah. So here are the fix and flip strategy. Buying it at the 215. I paid all the closing costs for the seller and myself. That includes my insurance. I've taken the fix and flip class. You want to make sure you have more insurance than just typical homeowner insurance. The rehab cost, which in our case, we utilize the education in the fix and flip class as well as the rehab classes. So there's 2 days of fix and flip, 2 days of rehab classes, and the rehab classes what got me comfortable with taking down walls and moving electric and moving plumbing. Cost of money, the private and hard money lending class taught me how to negotiate that, and you got to calculate the cost of money. And boy, that one was a tough one. I was losing sleep over going back and forth, and this hard money lender charges this way, and this hard money lender charges that fee. And some people, they don't tell you that there's an attorney fee, so you got to ask, And then, so if I were to flip it, the cost to sell the property, you got to pay agents and such, and you got your own closing costs. So that's in there. And so that gave me a break-even point. I'm like, okay, I need to sell it at that price to get my nut back. And so then you pull your comps, and the comps for this area showed me about the 385, leaving me with a possible profit of 62, which won't be terrible. You do need to make sure to save some for the man, but there it is. 62 is nothing to sneeze at.
All of that in 5 weeks.
Knock on wood, Lord willing. But yeah, he's been good to me. He's taken care of me. He presented this opportunity to me. He made sure that I was ready for it, and he has kept the weather at bay for me. So yeah, this is definitely the Lord's work here.
And it's blending in, coming together.
That's
Yep.
amazing. That's amazing. That is a fantastic. So you're looking at the second strategy here.
Yes, this is the second strategy. This is my midterm rentals, what I call it, traveling professionals. So if we have 5 bedrooms at 1,000 a bedroom, you would get 5,000 a month. My taxes and insurance would be about $500 a month. And going down, I'm gonna provide electric, plumbing, and internet to my guests. So my utilities will be 500, give or take, depending on the weather. So if I do rent all 5 and my monthly expenses, then you got, so yeah. So if you move over to the right, you'll see how my monthly expenses got taken out. So now we have the 4,000. Then I'm going to pay my private lender just under 2,000 for her interest only payments, which will give me a cash flow of 2,100. And my wife expanded that, so it's an annual 25,000 a year. So with me, and so if my private money lender likes getting her $1,900 a month, and she chooses to extend our relationship past the 18-month negotiation, I will get my initial nut back within 2 years. So 25 times 2, I'll have my whole nut back in 2 years.
I like it. I like it. So obviously, some folks are looking at, well, I could turn this in 5 weeks. Obviously, there's a selling period, a closing period, takes a little bit of time. So, you're looking at, 90 days total, if I'm just kind of being conservative. In 90 days, Chris and Micaela, you guys can walk away with potentially 60,000 plus. And if you're on today and you're looking at that thinking, well, I can walk away with 60,000, or I can make the 25,000 cash flow per year. Okay. Somebody might say, well, I'd rather take 62 because it's a bigger number. Sometimes people look at bigger numbers. How would you like to talk about that?
Well, to each their own. I'm going to start there. But, with my education, like I said, we've learned that there's 4 main reasons to have and hold real estate in your portfolio. So don't just, be so quick to pull the trigger. Do your research, crunch your numbers, look into the future, and see what this country holds. And you might come up with a different plan, or you might just give yourself more reasons to go with your original sale idea. But as long as you do your research and you get the education and you know what you're doing, then you can feel confident of making that decision for yourself.
Well, go ahead, Micaela.
No, I was trying to like, yeah, I guess for us, it makes more sense, or we wanted to keep it and rent it because we're in good location, like we're close to the hospitals, and so it makes more sense for us to hold it. But hopefully that works for us.
Well, the other big thing, I know you guys, so you're not in this for a short period of time. You're not thinking I'm going to get in this business for 5 years and get out and make all this money. You're looking at accumulating wealth. You're building equity in that property because your tenants are helping you pay your debt service basically. And so you're building equity because you're reducing your principal, you're taking appreciation, you've got appreciation, you've got depreciation, okay? And you're lowering your principal while at the same time cash flowing. And this is just one deal, folks. This is one deal. Many folks on this, in our community build their portfolio, because I loved you use that word earlier, Chris, is they build their portfolio and they get multiple doors like this. So that's beautiful.
And that's the goal. I still got the road signs out. I'm looking for more.
There you go. One of the things I just wanted to throw out right now, Chris and Micaela, for folks on, we got 80 plus people on, is that if you're on today and you're wanting to learn more about a lot of the subjects and materials that topics that Chris and Micaela talked about today, and you want to learn more about our community and specifically and the education that Chris, Micaela, myself, and many others have emerged or immersed ourselves in and are using it, applying it every day in our business, you might want to send a message. We have right after this today at 5 after the top of the hour. It's on a different Zoom link, but we have an intro into our community. So you get introduced into who we are, what we're doing, the education, the community itself. And it's be well worth your time. So send a message to invited you and plug into that. And that starts in about 10 minutes. So as we wrap up, Chris and Micaela, we're about 5 till the top of the hour. I love, like I said, wrapping these up with kind of some takeaways for people on today and talk a little bit about, what you'd like to, your departing message or leave with people, whether it's advice, recommendations, or just good old, here's what I've learned and this is what, I would suggest you do for folks who are kind of thinking about getting started with our community. And so who wants to start first, Micaela or Chris?
I'll go first. So first of all, I'm so grateful and thankful for the community. Thanks to everyone who came and helped us. It really makes everything easier, like, it motivates you, and I'm very thankful and grateful for that. This is awesome community. I'm gaining a lot of experience, and I guess one for me is getting out of my comfort zone and kind of learning more about the ins and outs about the whole flipping of the house and things like that. And also, I guess, be there emotionally and for Chris and for me, and like, yeah, so it's like if you're working as a partner, as a couple, just be there, be the support, right? Sometimes you don't know that, or like sometimes you just want to have your opinions as well, but it matters how you're moving along through the project and be the emotional support for your partners. Then I guess the education is key. Definitely had to know what you're doing, not just with the hands physically, but also theoretically. So yeah, I will leave it at that and I'll pass it to Chris.
So my takeaway is it doesn't matter where you start. The important thing is that you start. You know, talk is cheap, but you got to go out and go do it, right? And if you can't motivate yourself to do it, you know you want to do it, you've got to look for somebody to help you motivate you. Even if they're not going to be your business partner, you just need somebody to put your feet to the fire. So, and I wouldn't have done it without those people, without this community to lean on, to ask for referrals, to ask for recommendations. I've been able to save a lot of money by asking for referrals and recommendations, by sourcing materials for it. Going through the checklist, you know, you got to make sure to check and be thorough with your repairs. The roof, I thought it was just a trash bag that flew up there. Come to find out it was a bad roof. But keep your options open. Don't go into a deal with only one exit strategy. That's why I'm doing so much work to this house. I could just rent it the way I found it, but I would like to have more opportunities to exit in different ways. You know, what happens if an emergency comes up and I have to fix and flip it instead of hold it? The house wouldn't get the value that I needed it to be. So bring it up to today's standards. I want my guests, I want my tenants to choose living here versus living somewhere else. And you've got to do those updates to make that happen. And here's a good takeaway, since I've been pulling staples for 2 days now. You might want to think about going back with carpet in the bedrooms if the bedrooms came with carpet.
Yeah.
It's a lot of staples.
Well, Chris, Micaela, you guys have been fantastic. We really appreciate you guys taking out time this morning to share and give back. And for those on today, again, if you'd like to learn more about our community and about the education that Chris and I are taking, and it's not something that I have just taken once. A lot of the stuff I retake, and it's constantly we're adding classes and things like that. So send a message to who invited you, and they can send you a separate Zoom link, and you can actually attend that right after to this. It starts at 5 after the top of the hour, and you can learn a lot more about what Chris and Micaela have talked about. Guys, thank you very much. Chris, we'd love to have you out later and share the finished project and how it all turns out. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And for everybody on, you guys have a great Veterans Weekend. Again, if you have served our country, we thank you so much for your service. We will be back next Saturday, and we'll be in the Philadelphia market. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Philadelphia market. We'll be in New Jersey next Saturday. So, and we will be taking Saturday of Thanksgiving off. We're going to make sure that we take a break that day and let everybody spend time with their family. And then we'll come right back and we'll be down in sunny Florida after Thanksgiving. The Saturday, I think it's December 2nd. So we'll see you guys next week. Chris and Micaela, thank you again. And we appreciate everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.